lecture series of Grade 10 Chemistry. Today we will be discussing about metals and non-metals. We know that there are 118 elements have been discovered so far. Many of them are found to occur in nature while some of them are made by artificial methods. So they are called synthetic elements. Elements can be classified in many ways on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. They have been broadly classified into two categories, metals and non-metals. Besides these metals and non-metals, there is a third category of elements which show properties of both metals and non-metals. They are called metalloids. So these elements are known as metalloids. For example, silicon, germanium, arsenic, etc. coming under this metalloid category. The classification of elements into these broad categories is not equal. Of more than 118 elements, 84 are metals. There are only 22 non-metals, including 6 noble gases. While metalloids form the smallest group with 8 members. In this chapter, we shall study the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals and the methods of extraction of some important metals and their reactivity series. We shall also study how ionic compounds are formed due to the reaction of metals with non-metals. So let us look at metals first. Metals are those elements which possess metallic luster when freshly cut and are malleable and ductile and good conductor of heat and electricity. Malleable means they can be beaten with a hammer to form thin sheets without breaking. Ductile means they can be drawn into thin wires. During chemical reactions, metal can form positive ions by losing electrons. So they may be also defined as electropositive elements. So what is meant by electropositivity? Electropositivity means metals can form positive ion by losing electrons. For example, if I write Na, its configuration is 281, and during chemical reaction sodium can lose one electron and form a positive ion Na+. So generally we say metals can form positive ions. So they are called electropositive ions or electropositive elements. Some of the examples are potassium, magnesium, calcium, aluminum, barium, copper, all these coming under the category of metals, and how many electrons they are losing during a chemical reaction depends on the valence electron. For example, sodium loses one electron, but in the case of magnesium, its valence electrons are 2, so magnesium can lose 2 electrons and form a 2 positive ion, Mg2+. Similarly, in the case of aluminium, aluminum's valence electrons are 3. It can lose 3 electrons and form aluminium 3 positive ion. So metals are generally called electropositive elements. If you look at non-metals, non-metals are those elements which do not possess metallic luster. They do not possess metallic luster and are neither good conductor of heat or electricity. They are not malleable and also they are not ductile, but they are brittle. Brittle means they are breaking down into pieces on hammering or stretching. During chemical reactions, nonmetals form negative ions by gaining electrons. For example, in the case of chlorine, Chlorine, the electron configuration is 2, 8, 7. It needs one more electron to complete the octet. So chlorine can accept one electron and form negative ion. Nonmetals are those elements which gain electrons and form negative ions. So we can call it as electronegative. Or nonmetals exhibit electronegativity. We have some other examples of nonmetals as fluorine. Fluorine also having one electron in the valence shell. Hydrogen is another nonmetal. Sulfur, oxygen, all these are nonmetals. Nonmetals are either solids or gases except bromine, which is a liquid. So these are either gases or solids except bromine. Bromine is liquid. What is the importance of metals? What is the need of studying these metals? Usually mostly all the utensils used at home are made of metals such as aluminum, copper, silver, brass, stainless steel, etc. Which means that metals can be used for making utensils. And also metals such as iron, etc. are used in the construction of buildings and bridges. Metals are used in making almost all types of machine parts. Also, metals are used in the manufacture of automobiles, aeroplanes, ships, trains, etc. As you know, metals are used in making jewelry, especially silver and gold. Ag is silver and Au is gold. Some metals like titanium, chromium, manganese, zirconium, etc. have a great significance. They are used in a country's defense. So these metals are known as strategic metals. For example, these metals and their alloys are used in atomic energy, jet engines, space science projects, etc. So they are also used in making high grade steel. Which is the most abundant metal in the earth crust? That is aluminum. So aluminum is the most abundant metal in the earth crust. It constitutes about 7% of the earth crust. Then iron is the second most abundant metal in the earth crust. It constitutes about 4% of the earth crust. Now let us discuss some important uses of non-metals. Though the number of non-metals is small as compared to metals, yet they play a very important role in our daily life. For example, carbon is one of the important non-metal, and this is because all the life on the earth is based on carbon compounds. Proteins, carbohydrates, oils, fats, vitamins, enzymes, etc., etc., which are all made up of carbon compounds, and they are essential for the growth and development of the living organism. Carbon in the form of graphite, graphite is an allotrope of carbon. It is used as electrode in the electrolytic cells and dry cells. Oxygen is another non-metal which is equally important for existence of life and combustion processes. Oxygen is present in the air and is essential for breathing to maintain life. Another important nonmetal is hydrogen. It is present in almost all the carbon compounds like carbohydrates, proteins, oils, fats, etc., which are needed for the growth and development. It is also used in the hydrogenation of vegetable oils to obtain vegetable ghee. and it is also used for the manufacturing of ammonia, which is further used as a refrigerant and also for making fertilizers. Nitrogen is another important nonmetal, and it is an inert gaseous nonmetal. Its presence in the air reduces or decreases the rate of combustion, and it is also used in the manufacture of ammonia, nitric acid and fertilizers. Compounds of nitrogen like TNT, TNT means trinitrotoluene, then nitroglycerin are used as explosives. Nitrogen is also used as a food preservative due to its inertness. Sulfur is another nonmetal which is present in many of the substances found in plants and animals. For example, sulfur compounds are present in the hair, proteins, onion, garlic, wool, etc. Elemental sulfur is used as fungicide and in making gunpowder. And which is the most abundant nonmetal in the earth crust? That is oxygen. So, oxygen is the most abundant nonmetal in the earth crust. It's about 50% is present in the earth crust. And second most abundant nonmetal is silicon. It's about 26% in the earth crust. So all the metals have similar chemical properties and all the non-metals will have another similar properties. But the properties of metals are opposite to the properties of non-metals. Thus, it is the easiest way to distinguish between metals and non-metals is on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. So in the next video, we will be discussing about physical properties of metals and non-metals, and then we shall distinguish metals and non-metals on the basis of their chemical properties.